This is the online portal that it can be purchased to help you study and prepare for the A+ certification with CompTIA. I've already passed the login screen, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an overview of what's included inside the portal and give you a brief idea of the resources that are available inside the CompTIA learning portal. So when you're logged into the learning portal, what you'll see is the CompTIA logo on the top, and you'll see strengths and weaknesses, lessons, PBQs, which are performance-based questions, labs, which are virtual and assisted labs to help you have a hands-on experience in a virtual environment. You have practice, which includes the practice questions. You have assessments, flashcards. The first thing you'll see when you're logged in is up on the left-hand corner here, you'll see this 93. That 93 is going to be different for everybody based on the date in which they assume that they're going to have the end of this portal available to you once you purchase it. This is the number of days until the end of the contract of using the portal. And you also have the knowledge goal and also the learning plan progress. You'll also have a review activity, which is like your most recent available study task. And you'll see that this is where it lists all the lessons, lesson 1 all the way through to lesson 20. And just to give you an idea of what's contained within each lesson, let's take a look at each component. What you're going to find in each lesson, so we'll just take a look at lesson 2, just to give you a nice big broad picture. So in lesson 2, it's named Installing System Devices. So each lesson is going to have a topic area. So if you click on that topic area, it's going to bring you to your learning plan progress to that topic with also an additional study task. It's going to have a review activity, cable types and connectors specifically for this that will help you review the content of that study task. Here is a virtual workbench, which is one of the virtual style of labs. There's also assisted labs. This is another new topic. So this is installing and configuring motherboards. So you'll see a pattern here, a review activity on motherboards, a virtual workbench lab, and on installing a motherboard, and then you'll have a PBQ. So a PBQ is what you'll call a performance-based question, and those exist on the CompTIA A+ certification lab. This particular one is installing and configuring PC components. And then you also see there's a new topic here, explain legacy cable types, a review activity on that knowledge, and then at the very bottom of each lesson, you'll have practice questions. So before we take a look at the practice questions and how they're set up, I want you to understand that every lesson will have a different number of PBQs and a different number of labs. They will generally all have a review activity for each introduction of a concept within a chapter. So what you'll notice is that they're not all exactly the same, but they do have a lesson, reading, and review activities for the content, but they might have a different number of labs, and they might have a different number of performance-based questions. So, but they also will have practice questions within each one. So when you click on a practice question section, it's going to have a timer. It's going to give you a total time. It's going to have a percentage of the questions complete. So maybe you have a limited amount of time to study. You're going to see how far you've progressed through this particular assessment. You're also going to have a highlighting tool for highlighting sections and also removing the highlighting. And you have an opportunity to review the answer or not, which is great if you're getting closer to understanding the material even more and you don't want to necessarily review the answer. You just want to move on to the next question. I like to have the review answer on, especially while I'm teaching, because it enables me to then discuss the correct answer with students. Now, each question you need to remember is based on a scenario usually. So scenario-based questions, they can have more than one right answer, might have multiple answers, might have a single answer. And just remember that they're scenario-based. So that's really a challenge. You're going to have to think about the scenario, what's the best troubleshooting methodology to address in this situation, and how to best solve, for the right answer. So it's important when reviewing for the CompTIA A+ exam that you are reviewing scenario-based style questions, specifically with the content that you know will be on the exam within the multiple domains that are existing within the exam. So you'll see a question, and I'll go ahead and I'll just select an answer, confirm, If you notice, that was an easy question. There are easy, medium, and difficult questions. And when you get them right or wrong, you'll actually have some data to review which types of questions are which and which ones you're getting right or wrong. And when you get a question wrong, you will have a chance to review the vocabulary that's involved with each question. And the nice part about this is that it will give you not only the correct answer and the component of information expressed to be the right answer, but it will also give you information to help study other components that may have been involved in the question. For example, this one has SCSI connectors are commonly used to connect hard disk as well as other storage devices like tape drives, CD, DVD drives, and external storage devices. But they also include information around other topics introduced in the question. So that can be very helpful if maybe you need to review those other topics as well. So for example, each device on a wide SCSI boat bus must be configured with a unique ID from 0 to 15. So when you read these questions inside here, you are going to have multiple levels of knowledge to be able to answer the question appropriately. You might need to know more than one term. You might need to know the troubleshooting method. But ultimately, with these answers, you're learning the correct answer by taking them in practice. Another important thing to notice is also on the right side here, there's the tags, which is a specific domain that the question is addressing. And you also see an exam objective. So that can be very helpful when you've completed one of these sample assessments that you know exactly how it links back to the domain. So I'm going to go back, and next thing I'm going to show you is right below learning plan, which we're in right here. There are strengths and weaknesses. Strengths and weaknesses is going to kind of give you a big picture of how you're performing in the course to help you prepare for the exam. It's going to give you a percentile rank, an average score on your practice, an average score on your performance-based questions, the PBQs, an average score on your labs and percentage correct, also an average score on assessments, which can be very helpful to kind of see maybe where your strengths and weaknesses are in relationship to the types of assessments that you're taking. And you'll also notice strengths and weaknesses and proficiency levels according to each lesson down below. So as you move through the lessons, you're going to kind of get information that's going to help you understand which areas you're stronger in and which areas you're weaker, because it's very important that you know that, because you're going to have to go back and restudy those areas to help improve so you're prepared for the exam. So the next area I'm going to move to is lessons. Now, in the lessons area, this is great because this can bring you to any specific area within the CompTIA reading and lessons, which introduces all the content and vocabulary, and also many of the concepts related to the content and vocabulary. So here you'll see topic A1, explain cable types and connectors, 1B, 1C, and as you move through, those are all included below. When you start to do your reading for a specific course, for example, if I click on lesson 1, installing motherboards and connectors, not only do I have the reading, but I have the lesson objectives. And as I scroll through the reading, it's going to address the core 1 exam to be covered. It's going to address components of the domain. It's going to introduce you, have pictures, content, vocab. You also have the opportunity to highlight text that it's going to remember those highlights. And you can also rate your confidence on this specific area. And it's important because over time you can improve your confidence area and rate it higher as you go along. Another thing you can also do is you can flag and bookmark the section in case it's something you want to review again. And you also can record a note on the section, like come back here. And it will save that note. And so that if you have specific things you want to come back and note about a particular lesson, you can. And great pictures, great descriptions. And there's confidence levels, notes. So here's the notes I've added, bookmarks you've added, highlights you've added. Okay. I'm just going to take a step back. And that's through all of these different lessons. So you can click on them individually by section, and also you can go ahead and rate yourself on your performance as you kind of go through them. That you're going to see here, and you're going to be able to sort, and see by performance. So you can also filter and search particular lessons under specific categories, which is great if you need a specific review of something. And also you can look at all your high confidence levels, all your low confidence levels, ones that have a note or related questions, has a bookmark. You can search all of them right from the top. So now let's go back, take another step back, and we're back here on the learning plan. So we just looked at strengths and weaknesses. We looked at lessons. Now let's look at PBQs. So PBQ stands for performance-based questions. They're essentially questions here on the portal that are designed to be performance-based, understanding the knowledge from a particular chapter. Now, just to note, the way they're listed here is not particularly by lesson order. They are listed in a different order, but it's a good way of checking and seeing which ones you've completed, which ones you might need to go back and do. And it also gives you the amount of time taken and the highest percentage correct, which can be great to recognize which ones you need to go back and do over time. It would also tell you the percentage correct, the number of questions you've taken, and the average amount of time. The next area I'm going to hop into is labs. So with labs, you want to remember that there's the virtual workbench style of lab. There's also assisted labs, and that when reviewing these, you kind of want to have a good idea what's kind of the different types of labs. And you're also going to notice that not all lessons are going to have labs, and some are going to have more than others. So labs and their occurrence within the lessons is not consistent. It's not as though each lesson has 2 labs and 2 PBQs. You might find one has 4 and then 2 of another one. So just remember these questions are sporadic in the number as you move through the lessons. You'll also notice here that it's going to give you a virtual machine state. So many of these virtual labs require a virtual machine, which is kind of built within the CompTIA portal. It's kind of a great feature to help you kind of have a virtual experience of working within that environment. You're going to get completion status, the amount of time it took. You're also percentage correct and the date you completed. So it's a great way, once again, of checking in and marking your progress as you move through the course. Next is practice. So what you're going to get with practice, for example, is like if I click on install systems and I go to practice category, that's what's going to move me into the practice questions, just like we looked at before. Now, the important thing to remember with the practice questions here is that you're going to see the percentage complete, percentage correct, and it's going to give you a chance with the tag breakdown to see the exam objectives that are tied to those questions, which can be incredibly helpful over time because as you prepare for the different Core 1 and Core 2 assessments, you're going to find that you might be stronger in one area than another, and it's going to show here in your performance on these assessments. So very helpful. It's also going to tell you which ones you might need to go back and do because maybe it took you longer, and your average incorrect time and your average correct time answer. So you're definitely going to recognize and understand how well you're performing if you stay consistent and you go back in here and you use the tool. And the question categories are all listed with also a brief description. So it's a great way of knowing if you've done all the questions, which ones you might still have to do. Then under assessment, it gives you a brief overview of some of the larger assessments that you should complete. The very first one, the Core 1 final assessment, 88 questions. That's a good one to do after you've completed the first 9 lessons to evaluate your progress in the course so far, because the Core 1 covers the first 9 lessons of the course. The Core 2 is the final 10 through 20 lessons. So this can give you a very strong indication of how well you're performing in the domains contained within those lessons. But as you can see, they do take a good amount of time, an hour and a half. So not only are they giving you this time window, but you also have an information around the number of correct and the status of whether you completed it or not. And can be a great tool to help prepare for the exam because after you've reviewed, you need to kind of build up your level of confidence before you start taking these, just so you can have a more realistic practice test experience. Additionally, within here, you'll see flashcards are contained within every lesson as a review activity to help you prepare for the content. And as you go through the flashcards, what you'll notice is you'll get a definition, but you'll also get a did you get it right? No, kind of, or yes. And then that's going to be your indicator of your self-evaluation of your strength towards the questions. And then they kind of keep rotating back and forth. So you have to kind of pay attention and read and make sure that you understand the concept they're kind of introducing. This area, the Game Center, has a wide variety of games to play to help you also prepare. It has dashboard, card picker, card hunter, gives directions for these games, card sweeper. These are just additional game resources to help you prepare for the exam. In the final area here under resources, what you're going to see here is the mapping course content to the A+ Core 1 and the mapping course content to the A+ Core 2. Here you're also going to have the study notes and the transcripts. So the transcripts are the transcripts from the videos which help explain concepts within the course. The study notes are a list of all the key terms within the entire CompTIA A+ certification course. The mapping course content is a PDF, which includes, and I'll do a quick download and show you that as well. It is a download of all of the course content within the course. Now, just remember as you go through, they list mobile devices first, network scenarios. It's important to know that with the domains are not in the same order as the lessons. So this tool is best used when you're looking for a very specific amount of subject knowledge and you want to go back and understand what it's connected to and what topics it's connected to, because your lesson order is slightly different than this. Okay, so just remember that. So those are available right within the resources. So I'm going to bring you back up to the learning plan and kind of just give you a scroll through here, and you'll see that these contains all 20 lessons within the CompTIA A+ certification portal. These lessons are designed to help you prepare effectively for taking the A+ certification exam. It provides a range of lessons and assessments, performance-based questions, and assisted labs so that you have a hands-on experience within a virtual environment. And as you can see, as you go through, it's a tremendous amount of material, but it's designed to help you prepare for the exam the best way possible. So you can see it goes all the way up to lesson 20. It's a great resource, and all of it's available to you to help you prepare. And just remember, this is a tool that you log into. It's a great resource. And when you look at lesson 1, installing motherboards, I'm just going to give you a picture of what the reading looks like. You're able to flip through the pages and kind of see the components, the domains involved, peripheral devices, descriptions, definitions. It's very inclusive of everything that you need to know. So I highly recommend the use of the CompTIA portal to help you prepare for the exam. It's very robust. It has great assessment tools. It really will help you prepare effectively for the exam. And it will also give you enough practice exams so that you are really prepared for the test on the test day. Thanks for checking out the video. I appreciate you checking